Australians are obsessed with sport. Man against the elements, team against team, machine against machine. But what happens when critical mass is met? Rugby League international Isaac Luke's dream turns to tears. Kyle Reers' thumb gets a little help from a hamster.
It's a genetically engineered material.
Skilled surgeons use basic tools to fix a cricketer's shoulder.
Woodworkers would be familiar with most of these tools.
This is the human face of professional sports injury. This is damage control. AFL, spectacular, athletic, and dangerous. Possession of the ball is everything. These are the moments of maximum damage. In the dressing rooms, some final drills settle the nerves. The game is minutes away. All fear is left in here.
Cunnington.
19-year-old Ben Cunnington. It's his first season for North Melbourne.
Around there where I was at, good play there. Young Cunnington, is it?
In a matter of minutes, he's going to learn. He's not playing junior football anymore. Welcome to first grade. Ben's face takes the force of the blow. Potential damage, broken bones, lacerations, concussion. From this moment on, North Doctor Con Metropolis has to balance two conflicting notions.
So it looks like he's got a nice split above his nose.
Protecting Ben's broken face, but send him back into the fray.
You can't have these guys breaking down. The worst thing is to have a guy out there on game day coming undone, so you're one man down on the bench. Just relax, I'm just going to push you back in place, okay? Excellent. If you're one man down, you can pretty much cross the game off.
It's a calculated risk to get a broken player back out there. But Ben wouldn't have it any other way.
Do we get the goal? Do we?
Yep.
Can't go back out.
Yeah, you'll go back out. It's just a matter of getting you all cleaned up first, okay? Well, so far so good. All right.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay, let's hope that stays on.
Game day, South Sydney and Canberra.
Luke puts the left foot step on, and here he just gets down low.
NRL player Isaac Luke is shaping up as South Sydney's most valuable asset. He's the player who sets the team in motion and keeps them moving forward. Off-field, training is the rehearsal. Sweat and effort, pushing bodies, building skills. It gets close to the real thing. But at training, the big hits and clashes crowds love on the weekend are less obvious. But as Isaac Luke discovers, just as devastating.
Yeah. No, the other one, stretch band. Hold that side and go up.
In a freak accident, Luke dislocated his shoulder while playing a non-contact activity, touch football. Putting it back will hurt. Director of Athletic Performance, Errol Alcott, has done this hundreds of times. The shoulder ball has been wrenched out of its socket, usually resulting in cartilage damage along the way. When it's warm is the best time to get it back in, and that's exactly what's about to happen.
There you go. Okay. Deep breath.
Back in, is it?
Yeah. Well done. Back this week. Yeah, back this week. It's the spirit.
Team coach John Lang gets the news. His star player is out. If surgery is required, Isaac Luke might just have blown the best season of his life. Across town, Karin Hall is at training. She's up for selection in the New South Wales Breakers.
Cricket's pretty much been my life since I was about 7.
It's a different sport, but like Isaac Luke, she's about to have a good reason to remember a game of touch footy. Karin's dreams are about to horribly unravel. At the end of training, the girls decide to have a fun touch footy game to wind down. Karin trips and smashes her clavicle, the collarbone.
I went to score a try and I tripped. I had the ball in my hands and I didn't have anything to brace my fall. Yeah, I was just unlucky.
But unlike Isaac Luke, who has a wait-and-see injury, Karin has no choice. It's straight to hospital. 24 hours later, her family has rushed from country New South Wales to be by her side.
It's hard to sort of actually accept at the moment, but I've got a good, strong family around me and they're really pulling me through.
For any parent, this is a horrible moment. Their daughter's sporting future is on the line. So, it's surgery on her shattered shoulder. The trouble is, it's her bowling arm. Will the surgeons be able to fix her, or is it career over? Anzac Day at the MCG. More than 70,000 fans have packed in for the annual derby between Essendon and Collingwood. Outside of the finals, it's the biggest day in the football calendar. For the Bombers' Kyle Reers, a chance to show off his stuff to a capacity crowd. The crowd couldn't miss his trademark fluoro boots. But few would have seen this small incident late in the game.
Went in for a normal tackle, chasing someone, and threw my arm out too wide, and my thumb came like perfect contact with his forearm.
The thumb bone, the metacarpal, snapped in two.
And straight away I knew something was up.
He was right, but Kyle Reers had no idea just how unusual his treatment would be. For the Bombers' Kyle Reers, it's judgment time.
Let's have a bit of a look here. Yeah, the fracture is a transverse fracture through the base of the first metacarpal. You can see it right through there. It doesn't involve the joint, which is good. So it means, unfortunately, probably around about 6 weeks out.
First an operation, then 6 weeks out. But could a wonder ingredient have him back sooner?
It's a genetically engineered material made from hamster's ovaries.
You heard right. Hamster ovaries. Isaac Luke, tough, elusive, explosive. But damage doesn't need a crowd. The dislocated shoulder at training could mean the end of his season.
Okay, you're right to lie back. Now your shoulder's got to go into this.
The MRI scan will reveal the amount of bone and soft tissue damage and whether he needs surgery.
Okay, Isaac. Loud tapping now for 1 minute.
Isaac's mate, English international Sam Burgess, tries light relief to ease the nerves.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Right, stay still. See you, boo.
You okay there?
Just like thought I was Avatar for a while. Just come and check out what Souths have to do, whether you have to go in an operation or if it's that bad that we have to. Otherwise, we could just rehab up and I'll be back.
While touch footy victim number one waits for his fate, cricketer Karin Hall is already living hers, being pieced back together by surgeon Jonathan Herold.
My shoulder's never going to be as good as it was beforehand, so hopefully we can get something that's near enough. Dr. Herold, I'm sure he'll pull through with the goods for me. Surely.
There are many cricketers and footballers and sports people in general who've had this injury. It's quite a common injury in the elite sporting crowd.
This is a complicated broken collarbone.
So in the operation, the aim would be to, like a jigsaw puzzle, put the bones back together as they are.
Not only are the bones overlapping, but there is a third loose piece of bone, a butterfly fragment. It will be pinned with a lag screw and then everything held in place with a special moulded plate.
So this is the plate that we'll use. And you can see the plate has been bent and contoured. It's not a straight plate. They've studied this on a number of cadaver bones and found that this is the ideal shape to fit most clavicles.
Advanced as the plate is, the tools are about as regular as those you'll find in a handyman's kit.
It's a bit like drilling at home, really. Most woodworkers would be familiar with most of these tools. You'd probably get most of them from a Bunnings warehouse, I'd say. Put the drill guide on the bone.
It'll take an hour to fit the hardware.
Now we just need to put some screws in. So here's the screw itself. You can see it's being put into screwed into the bone, just like you'd screw into a plank of wood. I'm sure there's a lot of handymen out there saying, I could be doing this. You can see here now the clavicle's been put back together quite well. Held it all together and we've got a plate that's holding it together quite firmly.
At the end, surgical handyman Dr. Harold adds a nice touch to send Karin into rehab.
You know, that's a little cricket ball. She can practice cricket even while while her arm is in a sling.
Rookie Ben Cunnington's learnt the hard way. Damage control is often painful and immediate.
Just relax, I'm just going to push it back in place, okay? Try to keep the tape on. To put an elite athlete, or a thoroughbred as I call them, out on the ground and get it wrong could be absolutely devastating for them and for the team. So there's a fine line between being conservative and a high-risk decision, and somewhere in there you've got to find that balance.
You can just see him coming out from the rooms here now.
Yeah, he's got the old flat nose happening now.
Cunnington over the head. Cunnington almost threw that away, did throw it away.
Half-time. There's no rest for the wounded here. Examination suggests he's potentially shattered nose bone and cartilage, possibly broken a cheekbone.
Feeling crook? Mate, it's held up good. We'll go back out and have another run around.
It's not pretty. Only after the game, still an hour away, will Dr. Con have time for a thorough investigation.
Just make it nice and neat now.
Who knows what he'll find?
Sing it nice and loud, boys, well deserved!
The players always celebrate a good win amongst themselves. After 4 quarters of tough footy, Ben's face stands out. His nose is a mess. Time to check out the damage.
Shit. That's feel much better. We've got to have a really good look now, work out whether this is something that I fix or something that someone else fixes. And it all depends on whether that cut goes in. Okay? You can't say it, can you?
If Ben thought his pain was done, he's in for a rude shock. Cricketer Karin Hall watches on. It's all she can do. Her collarbone is now held together with a plate and screws.
Seeing them train this afternoon has really sort of made me realise how much I'm going to miss playing with them all, and it'd be pretty touch and go whether I can actually play.
The plate will speed recovery, but every week of rehab is now a lost opportunity.
Karin is in the early stages of her rehab at the moment in terms of just trying to get her range back and get her pain-free. But in terms of her strength and her control around her shoulder, we're really struggling.
It's a struggle Karin hopes will not take her right out of the game. Reers broke his thumb, and his surgeons promised he'll turn a 6-week rehab into just 4.
We're going to put some bone graft accelerant into the fracture to try and speed the healing up.
A plate and screws will secure the break, but healing occurs when the bone knits together. Time for Surgeon Hoy's secret weapon, code name OP1.
So if you look at the OP1 in this dish, you can see it's just a very fine granulated sand-looking material. So I'm going to put some blood that Dr. Grutzen has taken out of the patient separately. It's a genetically engineered material made from hamster's ovaries, and will accelerate the making of bone. And that's the material, just granulated little piece of putty, which I'm going to push in the joint. Works apart pretty easily, as you can see.
Using accelerant is unusual, but Greg Hoy feels that in this case it's warranted. Surgery has made the thumb stronger than ever. Recovery starts now. Essendon trainer Dee Jennings sets Kyle tough goals.
How long should it take us?
It'll probably take you 70 to 80 minutes.
You'll train in a special thumb brace.
We're just going to keep the hand sort of neutral, not doing too much of that.
Like that.
Wrapped in plastic and plaster, his challenge is to rebuild. His bones will knit, but to get back on the field, he has to pass the strongman test.
Okay, and flex.
Isaac Luke was lucky. His touch football injury, a dislocated shoulder, left him with a painful but small tear in the cartilage. No surgery, but 5 weeks of solid rehab.
No pain.
And with no gold-plated guarantee that he would return.
Push up, fire, off. Just relax for me now. You tell me if there's any pain. No pain?
No.
You're pretty confident he's right to go.
Good news. Let's go.
Isaac Luke came back for the last 6 games of the season. His time in rehab had cost him his chance to win League's Player of the Year award, and his unstable shoulder will need surgery before the next season begins. For Kyle Reers, it's crunch time. Has the bone accelerant on his busted thumb worked? With the 4-week mark looming, the Bombers train. Deep below the stadium, Kyle's body measurements are up for scrutiny.
Today's Kyle's come in and we're looking to track his lean mass and the changes in his upper body through some girth measurements. And stretch his leg out and relax it. What we've been doing is doing these measurements weekly. It's good to give the player a bit of feedback on how they're tracking and motivate them through their rehab period. The overall pattern of what we've seen with Kyle to date has been an initial decrease in his muscle mass in his upper body, which is expected. So what we're hoping to see today, that has started to increase now that he's completed his rehab period. Okay, and flex. 35. Yeah, 1 centimetre down with flex.
That's enough to satisfy the first part of the recovery. Now the second, the bone healing. Have the hamster ovary proteins done their job?
All right, come over and have a look at the X-ray. And the X-ray shows the original fracture line is around here. You can see a little bit of a line left over, but the bone has grown around it. You can see bone growing across around the corner, and the plate's in good position. No movement from the plate. The bone stimulant that we put in ensured that the healing was rapid, and it may have assisted in having him heal a little quicker than otherwise he would have.
Amazing.
So that's healed.
So we're all good?
All good.
Oh, it's amazing.
All good.
Play Saturday night.
Reers trying hard to spark something.
Kyle celebrates his return with a new pair of fluoro boots and a goal or two.
It's an accurate kick for goal.
Cricketer Karin Hall is also hoping to hear good news from her doctor today. Sidelined by surgery for the past 6 weeks, if she gets the all clear, she has one last chance to impress selectors.
This week it's the National Carnival for the second 11 sides all over Australia. If Dr. Harold decides I'm not fit enough to play this week, I think I'll be pretty shattered.
How are you, Karin?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. How far along are we now? 6 weeks?
5, is it?
Agonisingly, Dr. Harold takes his time making sure Karin has all the facts.
All right. And here's the last x-rays at the 2-week mark. You could still see some of the fracture here. New bone has grown.
But she only wants to know one thing.
I'm cleared to play. Okay.
You're cleared to play.
Beauty.
Hey.
That's very good news.
Good
Very
news, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
3 days later, Karin returned to play. But her 6 weeks rehab was too much to save her season, and she'll never play touch footy again. Ben Cunnington spent the best part of a match with a smashed face. Now time to see just how much damage there is.
You do us a favour, if I just block that nostril, can you try to breathe through that one? Yep.
Dr. Con's gamble to keep Ben on the field paid off.
Right. Mate, you've just played 4 quarters of tough football and you're complaining about some water in your wound.
I didn't really play much.
Alcohol.
Mate, you saved the day.
Drink it if you want it.
You won the game for us.
It looks nasty. But should it be fixed here in the dressing room, or is it hospital?
Or through maybe a fracture in your cheekbones.
Cheeks?
Yeah, okay, well, I just want to have a bit of a push and just see. Surgery, I think, for this young boy. That is the bone of your nose that's come out through the skin, okay? And there are sharp edges of that bone that have come out and caused that cut. So it wasn't just a hit. The hit broke the bone of your nose, or the bridge of your nose, and there's a few little sharp bits, like a few little teeth that are sticking out.
Turns out the collision broke his nasal bone and his septum, the cartilage. That's more than can be dealt with in a football dressing room by any doctor's standards.
Some things we can do here, some things we have to hand over to the surgeons, and this is a surgical one. And painkillers if you need them tonight, and I'll organise your surgeon.